and a very warm welcome to yet another interesting edition of the program CAC Weekly, a weekly program that keeps you abreast of the activities and achievements of the Corporate Affairs Commission. My name is Omohefe Peace Osemere. Coming up, Audit Committee comes under focus, plus how to register an NGO seamlessly online. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, alias the Game Changer, came along with a lot of important reforms, including the composition of the Statutory Audit Committee for Public Companies. While the Audit Committee of Public Companies in the old law had 6 members with an equal number of shareholders and directors in the CAMA 2020, the Audit Committee of a Public Company is made up of 5 members, that is, 3 shareholders and 2 non-executive directors, with at least 1 member being a member of a professional accounting body in Nigeria established by an act of the National Assembly. For more insight, let's join Justin Idiabero, Director, Compliance, to X-ray the Audit Committee for us. Enjoy watching.
Mr. Nidia Justin Berau, Director Compliance, CAC, many thanks for joining us on the program again, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Today we're going to be looking at the audit committee. For most people, when they hear audit, it means tuna asiri, isn't it?
Yes.
Is it blowing the lid or opening the lid? But let's look at it. What is this audit committee? Because people only know about audit. Which one is called audit committee again?
Well, the audit committee has always been there from 1990.
Okay.
Yes. And
CAMA 1990.
CAMA 1990.
Okay.
It was retained in CAMA 2020 with some improvements or innovations.
Okay.
Yes. Strictly speaking, it's only required for public companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Why put a committee to it?
Well, it is called a committee because it is not supposed to be an organ of the company. You know, the law distinguishes between an organ of the company, which is the board, and the management committee.
Okay.
But this one is like a standing committee of the company, which is composed of directors and members.
Okay. All right. So let's go to some of the innovation that are brought by CAMA 2020. Injected by CAMA 2020 as far as this committee is concerned.
You know, like we said earlier, the audit committee has always been there.
Okay. So it's not new?
It's not new.
Okay.
But we rightly observe there are some improvements that were brought in by...
What are these improvements?
The improvements are, first of all, if you look at the 1990 Act, what it prescribed then was that there should be an audit committee.
Okay.
And the maximum number for that committee is prescribed to be 6.
Okay.
And it was also a requirement that the composition should be equal between the members of a public company and the directors.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So, for instance, if you go for the 6, that is maximum, the composition will be 3 members and 3 directors.
Okay.
If you go for 4, then it will be made up of 2 each.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What other innovation did CAMA 2020 bring?
Now, having looked at what was there in 1990, part of the innovations that were brought were as a result of observations that were made over time.
Okay.
It was observed, first of all, that there was no prescription for professional qualification of the members of the audit committee. So that gave room for election into the committee, just any type of person.
Okay.
in an ideal situation, that should not be the case.
Okay.
Because the audit committee members are supposed to add value to the operations of the company.
Okay.
So CAMA 2020 prescribed that all the members of the audit committee should have financial literacy.
Okay.
And specifically also, it is required that one of the members of the committee should actually be a professional accountant.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any more innovation?
Apart from the educational requirements, it also modified the composition of the committee. You know, under the old act, it had a maximum of 6, made up of equal numbers. But this time around, it prescribed that the audit committee should be made up of 5 people, 3 members of the committee, and 2 non-executive directors.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And the idea behind that is that you should give some level of independence to those that are coming from outside the company, because the equal representation could easily create a stalemate. So, but in this case, if you have an odd number, that stalemate is avoided.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Before we go to the function, why is it that people are scared of auditing or audit in general?
Well, it has been said that two institutions in an organization are usually not anybody's friend. And that is the human resources
and the audit.
And the audit.
Why are they not anybody's friend?
Because they investigate everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And sometimes people don't want to be investigated.
Yes.
But in an ideal situation, actually, if you are doing your work diligently and you are operating in accordance with the rule, there is nothing to fear about audit.
But sometimes there will be a mistake when it comes to check and balances of or accounting or how you spend finances that have been given to you.
Well, that's why we have finance department and audit. And there are levels. And there are levels of checking, both in the account and finance department and in audit. It is expected that if there are errors, those errors should be detected before the document is exposed to the public.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's go to the function. There are about 6 of them. Yes. So we'll take them one after the other, and then we'll start with the one that says it's about ascertaining accounting and reporting policies in accordance with the law. That's straightforward.
Yes, quite straightforward.
Okay.
What that means is that apart from Companies and Allied Matters Act, there are other laws that govern the operation of companies. So those should always be considered in making accounting and financial policies for a company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the second one talks about review, findings on management matters. That's another straight one.
Not quite straight.
Okay. Okay.
Because what that means is that, for instance, if a company is audited and there is what we call audit observations, the management is required to make comments on those audit recommendations.
Okay.
Yes, and what is expected also is that the management, the audit committee should review both the audit queries and management comments on them, and will be able to advise the board on appropriate mechanism if they require remedial measures. The audit committee will be able to advise the board on remedial measures.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Then the third one is keep under review effectiveness of company's accounting system and control. Very long one.
Yeah, very long one. but it's expected that every organization should have accounting system.
Okay.
And it is expected that the accounting system should be reviewed from time to time to ensure that the books that are being kept meet the financial requirements of the companies and that they could easily be verified.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then I'm seeing the fourth one, make recommendation to the board on appointments and removal of auditors. So it means we have this committee supervising internal auditors or overseeing internal auditors.
Yes, in a sense.
Okay, because if it recommends for removal and appointment,
it's not the internal auditors.
So another auditor checking another auditor. Two layers of auditing.
Well, that's not the intention of that section.
Okay.
It is expected that for public companies, in particular, that they should have professional auditors.
Okay.
And part of the operations of company require that actually at every annual general meeting, the company should appoint external auditors that will audit the books of the company.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Every year.
Okay, every year.
Yes.
Okay. So that makes things easier.
So part of the responsibilities of the audit committee is that they would recommend the appointment of external auditors and removing them. And under internal governing rules, there is now a requirement that auditors, after staying in a company for some time, they will be required to exit and then bring in fresh external auditors.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So then we go to the fifth one that says review the scope and planning of audit. So audit has scope now.
Well, audit has
you just can't go and start auditing everything.
Of course, like any
even
other,
people's plate of food.
any other thing, any other.
Or the way they work.
Not the way they work. Like any other organization, you don't just bump into the company to say that
you want to see the books.
You want to audit the books. There should usually be a plan.
Okay.
Of how the audit should be carried out in the course of the year.
Okay.
So,
is there going to be like a kind of notice to say in the next few weeks or in the next 1 month we are coming to audit your books? Do they do that? Well, or they just come in when they like?
No, not really. There is like if you
they give a prior notice.
There is a plan.
Okay.
Because the financial statements are also expected to be rendered.
Okay.
Periodically. So in an ideal situation, the statutory reporting period should be factored in when you are preparing the audit plan. And then audit also is recognized that it's a sample. So it's not possible to comprehensively audit every activity in the company. So that's why the idea of scope comes there. So while you are preparing the plan, you will determine if, for instance, the organization or the company has branches. You determine which branches you would go to and which branches you will ask the head office to bring their books, since you may not be able to audit almost all activities of the organization.
Okay.
So that's why the idea of scope
comes in. Okay. Is the 5 and 6 not almost the same? Because 6 is saying authorize internal auditors to carry out specific investigation. It's not the same.
No, like if you look at it now, there is clearly from the provision, there is a provision for external auditors of the company.
Okay.
Then there is also provision for internal auditors of the company.
Okay.
So where, for instance, there is a problem or there is a suspicion of fraud, the audit committee can always ask the internal auditor or the head of internal audit to investigate specific activity and report back to the audit committee.
Why must we have 2 layers of auditing? There's always an internal auditor and an external auditor. Is it that the external auditor doesn't trust the internal auditor, but that's what happens in most organizations. Or the auditor himself has to be audited him.
Yes, something,
the hunter has to be
something of that nature, but we recognize that the internal auditors are also employees, usually. They are employees of the company. They are part of the
system,
internal structure of the company.
Okay.
So that level of independence may not be there because they are involved.
Okay, so neutral persons have to come.
A neutral person considered a little bit more objective.
Okay.
That is detached from the company.
And more independent.
And more independent is required.
Okay.
Because the requirement for external auditors, specifically one of it, is that the person must not be an employee of the company.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. As we round up, why is it so difficult to come out of clean when being audited? Because when it comes to finances, because no matter how prudent you are, once you go through that, through that rule, there must be something to pin you to say this didn't go right. Why is it so always difficult to have a clean slate after being audited? Why is it?
Well, like any other human...
Because you tell me you are not an auditor, but you've been in the system and you're a director of compliance. So that's why I'm putting the question to you. No matter how clean you are, there must always be a dent somewhere.
Well, like any other human system, no system is expected to be perfect.
Perfect, okay.
Yes. And
so what level of perfection is expected as far as auditing is concerned?
Well...
that you gave me 10 naira to spend and I end up spending 6 naira and then I use 2 naira for refreshment that you didn't ask me to do in the first place, and now they will ask me, why do you have to spend 2 naira? But I'm hungry and I need to take refreshment.
Well, there are rules. There are rules that govern how you take
refreshment.
How you take,
so I don't just go and take refreshment.
You don't just go and take refreshment.
Even when I'm hungry in the course of the job.
Well, if the organization say you shouldn't take any refreshment, then it will not be right for you to say that you take refreshment. Yes.
Okay.
System. No human system is expected to be perfect. Okay, so, but then part of the responsibility of audit is that you detect errors, particularly fatal errors.
Okay.
That could ruin down
the company.
The company.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so the red light.
Yeah, the red lights.
You should always look out for them,
And the red flags.
Okay.
That should always be exact.
All right. Mr. Nidia Justin Barrow, always a pleasure talking to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for that informative segment, Mr. Justin. And now, let's go to take some lessons. Do you intend to register a charity, non-profit organization, civil society organization, citizen sector organization, or social benefit organization anytime soon? Okay, come with us. Let's show you how to do that on your own.
Registration of an incorporated trustee on the new CAC registration portal. In this video, you will learn how to register an association or incorporated trustee with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Let's begin. Step 1. Log on to pre.cac.gov.ng and log into your portal. If you do not have an account, click on Register on the top right corner of your screen to create an account. Step 2. On your dashboard, click on New Name Reservation. Pick Incorporated Trustees under Classification. Enter your proposed names. Pick New Incorporation as your reason for availability search. Click on Apply for Reservation Code button. This will bring up the reservation code application process page. Step 3. Pick the classification of your Association 1 and 2 and describe the association's classification. Ensure you fill all fields marked with a red asterisk and click on Save and Continue. Step 4. On the Constitution, specify the minimum or maximum number of trustees. Set the trustee tenure. Choose the custodian of the common seal. Choose the governing body of the association. State the application of funds. state how the account of the incorporated trustee will be kept, then click on Save and Continue. Step 5. Under Aims and Objectives, click on the Add Aims/Objectives button and state the aims or objectives of the association. Click the Add button, then click on Save and Continue. Step 6. On the Trustee, you must add at least 2 trustees or more to proceed and ensure you add a secretary to the body of trustees. To add a secretary, pick and fill in the details of your designated secretary or a trustee who will also act as a secretary. If the secretary is a designated secretary only, click the box labeled Add as a Secretary Only after filling in the secretary's details. If a trustee will be acting as secretary, click the box labeled Add Both Trustee and Secretary and click on Add Trustee and then click on Save and Continue. If you wish to hide the residential address of any of the trustees, click on the Hide Residential Address toggle button. Ensure you fill all fields marked with a red asterisk and click on Save and Continue. Step 7. Under Document Upload, if there are supporting documents which will facilitate your application for a reservation code, scan and upload here. Then click on Save and Continue to preview. Preview your entries, and if satisfied, click on Save and Continue to proceed to payment. You can now proceed to make a newspaper publication in at least one national daily and at least one local newspaper in local circulation in the locality where the association will be registered. Obtain and keep the hard copies of those publications. Registration. After your application for consent has been approved, log on to your dashboard and click on the Reserved panel. Click the Start Registration button beside your reserved name. Step 1. Under Meetings, you can add different types of meetings and specify the quorum for each. Add your meetings and click on Save and Continue. Step 2. Under Source of Income, add the sources of income of the association and click Save and Continue. Step 3. Under Publications, fill in the details of the first and second newspaper publications you made and click on Save and Continue. Step 4. On the Document Upload, scan and upload the document labeled Yes, and where the document labeled Optional applies to you, scan and upload, then click Save and Continue to preview. Preview your entries, and if satisfied, click on Save and Continue to proceed to payment. When your registration has been approved, your certificate will be automatically generated on your registered panel, where you can download and print.
Wow, it's so easy. Take advantage to register via the company's registration portal. Now let's shift our gears and take this message for company owners.
Attention, business owners. Did you know that failing to file your annual return can put your company at risk? In Nigeria, the Company and Allied Matters Act 2020 requires all registered entities to submit their annual return to the Corporate Affairs Commission (CAC) or face serious consequences. The listing, striking off the CAC register, these are not just empty threats. They are real risks that can strip you of your business license, cutting off access to government activities, support, subventions, and crucial post-incorporation services. The law is clear. Annual returns are mandatory for the continued recognition of your business as a legal entity. Act now. Good news! Filing your annual return has never been easier. Introducing the CAC Online Portal, your convenient, efficient, and accessible solution to fulfill your annual return obligations. File your annual return online through the CAC Portal today. CAC, committed to prompt and efficient service.
And that does it for this week's edition of the program CAC Weekly. We do hope you enjoyed watching. For comments and inquiries, please take advantage of our social media handles and call center. X, formerly Twitter, at CAC Nigeria 1, Instagram and Facebook at Corporate Affairs Commission, email at cac.gov.ng. Check us on our website on www.cac.gov.ng, and our call center number is 070-8062-9000. Do join us next week for another interesting edition of the program, same time, same station. From me, Omoefe Peace Osemere, and the whole team, it's bye for now.